Temple has to contend with him. We'll see what they can do. They had 5 guys play professional basketball this year from last year's team, so they'll have to contend with filling the void of them. Lee, one of their top returners, the returning rebounder from last year, is already averaging 11.5 this year. Fran Dunphy has taken the Owls to 6 straight NCAA appearances, averaging 24-plus wins a year. Towson, Veneman, as you talked about, the pro prospect, 3rd leading rebounder in the nation last year. Burwell playing very well to start the year, says Coach Pat Scarry, who's their glue guy, he said. And when I talked to Coach Scarry earlier this week, he said, we needed to change habits, and we have done that. There's a culture here now, and with that, there is a program, and they are now playing some very meaningful games. As we have Brian Kersey, Brian O'Connell, and Clarence Armstrong, our officials tonight. We are underway from Towson, Maryland. Tigers coming off a 95-75 win versus Morgan State on Tuesday to open up this new building at 2-0. First 2-0 starts is 1996. Hairston on the drive, the first basket of the game for the Tigers.
Pat Scarry couldn't have asked for a better first possession. They showed patience, and then they executed with a nice little drive there down the middle.
Owls coming off a tough loss at home on Monday night, 81-77 versus Kent State, as Lee works it in and counters with the left hand. Anthony Lee, the junior from Columbia, Maryland, not far away from here. There's 30 people in the house here tonight to watch him play. A great contingent. We'll see if Temple can respond after the loss the other night. Penniman's first shot of the night. And a foul on the Tigers.
So far, Mike, both teams have showed great patience. They've gotten good shots, gotten good looks on both sides of the court. It's going to be key today, though, for Temple. They don't want to play at the same pace that Towson. Towson will look to push it a little bit more. Temple wants to be slightly more strategic, slightly more patient in the half court.
Cummings, he works it in and gets inside for 2. Cummings, the junior point guard from Jacksonville, Florida, going to be asked to do a lot this year for the Temple Owls. And will replace a lot of scoring from last year's team. Damas, tough shot on the drive, and we've got a foul on Towson on the rebound.
Watch Cummings right here. Nice little crossover. He waits and lets the play develop, though. He saw that the paint opened up and he exploded and put it in second gear. You know, when I was speaking with Coach Dunphy at practice yesterday, he was saying there's a lot going to be on that young man on Cummings' shoulders this season.
The foul was on Beneman, his first. The previous foul on Towson on Tamaj Parker Rivera. So 2 team fouls early for the Tigers, 2 minutes gone by. Beneman the rebound. Well, you talked about him doing all different things, Ron, as he takes it up the court but misses the easy one.
He's versatile. You know, you have to know where he is at all times. You can't relax because it can hurt you in a lot of different ways. But what they have to do is when he shoots it, you have to box him out and not give him that second look.
Williams and Temple early on inside, getting some good looks at the rim, 6-2. Damas controlling. First player brought in by Coach Pat Scarry, and he nails a 3 from the top. Damas also scored the first points in this building here on Friday night in their opener. To go into the history books, here's Lee. And Damas the rebound. The energy so much different here now for the Tigers. You think about it, 2 years ago, Ron, they're 1-31, Last year they won 18 games. This year they got a new building. As Benjamin misses the three.
Energy's totally different. And Pat Skerry said it. He said, we were trying to create a culture. We were trying to create a way, and we've done that now. Now the key for Towson is managing success. Will they be able to continue and build on what they had last year? Last year they were hunting. This year teams are coming after them. How will this ball club respond is the key.
I was here on Friday night watching that opener in this new place, and in the post-game press conference, Coach Skerry said, wow, look at all, you looked at all the media members, and was like, there's more people here than my first 2 years, you know, and it really did. It looks like big-time college basketball here now for them, and it's good. They've been waiting a long time for this.
They really have.
Gets it stripped away. Here come the Owls. Pepper. The feed inside by Cummings, partially rejected, but Pepper gets it back for three. And it'll stay with Temple as Benjamin knocked it out. Here's the Cozy on the shot, coming off the screen. Good inbounds play for the Owls. They lead it by 3.
That was smooth. The Cozy's one of those guys that he's so deceptive. It doesn't look like he's moving fast or jumping high. And this place definitely looks exciting.
That's what Coach Skerry told us coming here. This is a huge part of the recruiting tool, and a big reason why he decided to come here at Towson, as the Owls are now up 10-5. Coming up on 5 minutes gone by. DeCozy on the basket. Raphael Guthrie is checked in for Towson. They get it underneath to Benjamin, and he works it in for 2.
That time, that was an excellent move that time by Jarrell Benjamin on the low block. The help came from Temple, and he split the secondary defender as well. He's a talented offensive player.
Williams gets by Benjamin and converts. Temple, they're going to get a lot of different people involved. They had all 5 of their starters in double figures in scoring in that last game run, and that loss to Kent State. Scoring wasn't the problem for them.
Both of these ball clubs are similar in that fashion, and there's 5 guys that can give you double figures on any given night.
How about Benjamin? Averaging 13.5 points and 15.5 rebounds throughout the first 2 games. Cummings brings it up for Lee. Working on Parker Rivera. Another left-handed shot, and a tough one with Parker Rivera right in his face.
You always take a little luck.
Yeah. 5-point Temple lead. Burwell set the check back in along with Walter Foster on the sideline for Towson at the next whistle. Shot clock down to 10. And Hairston is fouled.
I tell you right now, when you look at Forrest Harrison's game, we'll get to that in a minute, but watch this drive right here by Temple. No help comes over by Towson. He goes right down the lane. Then right here, Lee catches it on the elbow, takes the bump, and finishes. What I start to say is when you look at Harrison, who just went out for a blow, his game has really matured. Like last year, he played in one gear. He was always hunting for shots. This year, he slowed down and thoroughly understands how to run an offense.
And a man one coming here for Benjamin, who makes another strong drive to the basket. How tough is that to stop?
He's so versatile. Watch here. He catches it on the wing, goes through the leg, crosses over, takes a hit, and still is able to finish. He's a load. Once he gets his momentum going, you're not going to stop him. And he has a nice, soft, feathery touch at the end of his drives as well.
Lee called for the foul as Benjamin converts the three-point play. He's also a very good free throw shooter. up close to 80% already to start the year.
He is. You know, Pat Scarry, and speaking with him in practice earlier today, he was saying, look, Jarrell, you're going to get your points. We want you to make sure you don't stop rebounding while you're hunting for your shots, and he's done a great job at that so far.
Lee inside again. This one tipped out. And Damas controls it and avoids the turnover. Look out. Benjamin. Couldn't get it to go, and the tip no good by Foster.
Right now, if you're Temple, look to run offense. Don't get caught up in the up and down pace.
Temple is 7 for 12 shooting so far here, and a 3 on the way by DeCozy, no good, but tipped out by the Tigers. And keep an eye on this guy who just checked in for Towson. Form McGlynn, the sophomore from York, Pennsylvania, the transfer from Vermont. And where's number 4? Right now at the top, guarding Cummings. He will drain it from the outside. Yeah,
he doesn't need a lot of space to get his shot off.
Look at that shot by Lee, though, and it counts off the backboard and the foul.
I tell you, Lee's working on the inside today. You know, a lot of his shots look unorthodox. He's got that ugly left-handed jump hook, but he's finding a way to put it down, and you'll take it. The and one. He's going to the foul line for the old-fashioned 3. Good patience, little dream shake, half jump shot, half jump hook, half jump shot.
Yeah. Foster gets called for the foul. And he'll not be able to complete the three-point play, but he has 6 points on some good opportunities in the interior so far. He's already scoring and rebounding at a rapid pace. 2 double-doubles to start the year for him.
A little change of defense by Temple that time. They started off with a 1-2-2, three-quarter court, and they switched back to half-court man-to-man.
Guthrie. Offensive foul. So taking the charge that time was Will Cummings, and it's a discussion that you and I were having before the game about these new rules.
But the secondary defender is there. You see him standing, waiting for the contact. The secondary defender has to be outside that arc, and he has to be there before the ball is lifted up in the motion of going towards the basket.
We were talking with the officials before the game, and just a ton of offensive fouls in college basketball that we saw last year as Benjamin rips it out of the air and takes it the other way. Here's McGlynn, first 3, and rebounded by Foster. Burwell tries. That one's good.
And that is exactly what Fran Duffy said he didn't want to do. He wanted to limit Towson's second shot. Incredible job by Pat Scarry at getting these guys to buy in, getting them to believe in such a short period of time.
Good to have you with us here tonight from the CQ Arena at Towson University. The Tigers and the Owls, Mike Corey, Ron Thompson. As the fadeaway doesn't go by DeCozy, Burwell the rebound, and he is fouled by Dalton Pepper, who picks up his first, third on the Owls in this first half. What about, with this kind of turnaround, how you manage success in such a short amount of time?
Well, what they have to make sure they do is do all the little things that they did last year to acquire the kind of wins that they had. And, you know, you have to continue to buy in, understand that there's no I in team, and keep having a collective effort, offensively as well as defensively.
Benjamin trying to do a little bit too much that time, as DeCozy brings it over for Temple. Here's Dingle. Dingle drives and is fouled by Walter Foster, and that's the second on the young freshman from Atlanta, Georgia.
Foster with the foul. 2 seconds, team is good.
Foster on the first foul for him, as we see Daniel Dingle, the sophomore from the Bronx, New York. He hurt his foot right before the Penn game and slowed a little bit, but has worked back into the action. Both were #1 draft picks a year apart. Their careers have always been linked. Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin. It's Wednesday night rivalry. Penguins Capitals coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern on NBCSN. Wednesday night, don't miss it. Temple with the 2-point advantage, putting on some backcourt pressure. As Burwell will bring it over.
I like what Temple's doing defensively. That time they just picked up in a straight man-to-man full court. The possession prior, they went a 1-2, 2-3 quarter court press. So right now they're trying to make Towson think and not get so comfortable in their half court.
Guthrie on the good head fake. Parker Rivera couldn't slam it home, but gets it back. And his second try draws a foul.
Temple has to do a much better job, Mike, at putting bodies on the Towson defenders when the shot goes up. You can't just foul the ball. You got to go, turn, put a body on somebody because Towson's getting far too many offensive rebounds in the other night.
Fouls on Dingle for Temple as Tamaj Parker Rivera, the sophomore from Milford, Connecticut, who was rated as the number 2 player in the state of Connecticut a couple years ago. His team won back-to-back state titles. As Marcus Damas checks back in and For McGlynn takes a seat. And Parker Rivera gets 1 of 2. He played in all 31 games last year as a freshman, did not start in any of them, and now in a starting role here in a sophomore season. 1-point ball game. Josh Brown is in, got it knocked away, and DeCozy comes up with it. Dingle drives into traffic. Burwell, good rebound. What a bad pass.
Good idea, bad execution, but the pace, that's the pace that Towson wants to play at, especially here at home. They want to push and miss baskets. They want to blow out. Temple, on the other hand, they want to slow down just a bit and be a little bit more precision, a little bit more precise in their half-court offense.
Well, that was one of Pat Scarry's keys, Ron, for Towson when we talked to him earlier this week, was in transition both ways, taking care of the basketball. They didn't do it that time, but then not allowing easy baskets the other way. It's time to draw the foul. He is up and at him, isn't he, right off the bat?
Pat's all over the place. His energy is flowing. His juices are going. At the shoot-around today, you know, he was sweating up a storm. He was working the sidelines trying to get these guys going.
Sorry, no foul, ball out of bounds. Towson ball. The other night, after the first win on Friday versus Navy, his wife, Kristen, had said to him, hey, it's the first game of the new building. Just, hey, relax, enjoy it. He's like, okay. He said, I was up 4 seconds into the game. Roaming the sidelines. And changing the attitude here at Towson. 10 to shoot. Damas. Floating right-hander goes down.
He's so versatile. He's long. He's athletic. Right now, Towson's playing without a true point guard on the floor. Benjamin's not in there, as well as Hairston, and he still found a way to execute.
5 points for Damas as Towson takes the lead, and Burwell the rebound after the pepper miss. Good rebound by Parker Rivera. Crowd want a foul. They're not getting anything, and it's out of bounds off of Towson.
I tell you what, though, that was excellent work on the interior by Parker Rivera in terms of crashing the boards. Right here, look at Damas, just so versatile. He's long, 6'7", nice little floater over the arms of the Temple defenders.
First lead since early on here tonight for the Tigers. Coming up on 8 minutes to go in the first half. Pepper off the screen. Nice dump down. Yeah, he said, he goes, I'm pretty much the envy of all the coaches. I don't have to sell or move my house. He's very fortunate, he said, to be in Philadelphia all this time.
Again, Towson doing an excellent job on the offensive board. That's their 10th offensive rebound. Temple's going to have to find a way, especially at halftime, to clear up what Towson's doing. They just have to turn and keep Towson off the boards. That is how Towson plays. They want their offensive rebounding to be as much as of an offensive weapon, Mike, as them running their offensive sets.
Anthony Lee called for his second foul for the Temple Owls as Marcus Damas is back to the free throw line, and he had 17 points in the last game. averaging over 13.5 so far, and just a great story. The first guy brought in by Coach Pat Scarry, and really one of the two players that came in first to be a significant player for Coach Scarry all 3 years. Jamel Flash, another one, and Damas was really that best player on that 1-31 team 2 years ago.
And as a coach, you do remember the ones that committed to you first,
right?
The ones that didn't make you jump over hoops to try and get them. And that's, as a coach, you like that. You want the guys that want you, and Damas is one of those guys for Pat Scarry.
You saw the graphic there with a battle for Atlantis coming up right here on the NBC SN. And Thanksgiving weekend as a jumper goes down by Pepper as he nails it. And Temple's back up a point. Big weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, the battle for Atlantis, and then also in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. For games there as well, right here on NBC SN. Looking forward to it. Kicking off our college basketball coverage here tonight at Towson. And that's going to be the 7th team foul on the Owls.
Dalton Pepper right here coming off a little cross screen, nails the free throw line jump shot. If Pepper can get going, this Temple Ball Club has a totally different look and an incredibly different feel. You know Cummings is going to be there. You know Lee is going to get his touches. Pepper was a 2,000-point scorer in high school. We can really get it going.
So Guthrie checks out for Towson, and so does Daniel Dingle, who picked up his second. Devontae Watson comes in, but Veneman misses the front half of the 1-and-1. Watson trying to post up down low for Temple.
Take a look at Pat Scarry at the top of your screen doing defensive slides.
Yeah, it's like a 6th defender out there, isn't it? Sometimes you might, think there's somebody behind you. Look at the outlet pass. Davis got it rejected by Pepper.
Great effort that time by Pepper getting back in transition.
Cummings kicks it out, and into the backcourt it goes. Davis tracks it down. And finds Veneman.
Great sprint by Davis, not conceding that ball will go out of bounds, and then he kept his head up and showed Veneman streaking down the middle. Great job that time by Davis. He made that point, that basket count.
5th lead change we have here tonight, Ron, as Towson is back up. Spinning is Cummings, and look at the acrobatic shots that Temple's been able to hit tonight.
They have to be pleased at where they are. They're on the road. They're up 1, 6 minutes to go here in the first half. It hasn't been pretty, but they found a way to keep it close in this hostile environment.
Temple is a program, one of the all-time greats, 6th most wins in NCAA history. Fadeaway jumper, good by Jerome Hairston.
That was good defensive effort that time by Temple. They want Hairston to take more of those shots, but that was great defense, but he converted with a heck of an offensive move with the fadeaway.
And Temple going up against the team here tonight that is trying to make history and just get themselves on the map. The Towson Tigers, 1-31 2 years ago, 18-13 last year, off to a 2-0 start this year, all at home here in the new building. Burwell on the rebound. And the crowd helping to energize this team. Veneman checked by Mark Williams. Burwell for 3. Here comes Pepper, and he throws it away.
That time Pepper just got a little careless, tried to get cute and throw a look-away pass when he didn't need to do it. He should have just given it to Cummings and then filled the lane behind it.
Substitution is Quentin DeCozy is
Fred
back
Dumfries says, look, son, come sit down and think about it a little bit. On the road, those are the kind of turnovers you don't want to have. That was an uncaused turnover. It was just a selfless pass, and he just threw it out of bounds.
Tigers by 1 with the ball and under 5 to go here in this first half. Damas First three, no good. Rebound, pulled home by John. The freshman from Irvington, New Jersey. But it's St. Anthony's High School for the great Bob Hurley. Turnaround hook here by Williams. No. Benneman got it knocked away. It'll stay with the Tigers as For McGlynn and Walter Foster checks back in.
Look at Pat Scary on the sideline, working the sidelines. He's into it. Happy, not so happy. The different motions and the different sides of Pat Scary. He really gives it up. His practices were so intense. He was into it just as much as the players were.
For McGlynn, got a hand in his face, so passes it up. And what a shot. And falling to the deck was Hairston, and he nails it.
Hairston can make tough shots. This year, you know, they're going to rely on him to run the offense just a little bit more, but he can get you buckets.
Foul going to the basket, and Cummings will have a chance at a three-point play. And Temple is getting to the rim here tonight. And they can tie it up at the free throw line.
That was a good job that time by Temple when Towson was celebrating after the tough shot by Hairston. They pushed it down really quickly. As you see, Cummings takes advantage of Towson relaxing, gets in there, takes the contact, and finishes. And they're going to need a lot more from Will Cummings. And, you know, in speaking with Coach Dunphy, he was saying that, you know, they need him to score more this year, to be quite frank. But they need it to be on a consistent basis. And he's making the adjustment from being a role player last year to being a frontline guy.
Well, he's hoping the first two games are a good indication. He had a career-high 18 points in the first game versus Penn, and then 17 points in the loss to Kent State. So he's doing what is asked of him so far.
He really has. He's one of the leaders on this ball club.
Hairston up top. 3 for 3 already in this game. First miss. And Cummings the rebound side. And an offensive foul called on Towson's Walter Foster, and that's going to be his third. That's been Will Cummings, the junior point guard for Temple, doing a little bit of everything. 8 points. Owls lead by 1.
For over 50 years, Symetra has helped provide financial security for people and businesses so they can reach higher and fly farther. Visit Symetra.com/fly and take flight.
It took 1 hour to think up an idea, 3 months to get a loan, 2 months to find the space, and 5 weeks later came the first return customer. It took 2 years to bring your idea to life. So why wouldn't you take 20 minutes to make your business better? Call us. If we can't offer you faster speed or better savings on your current internet or phone service, we'll give you $150 for your time. Get your Comcast Business 20-minute advantage today.
You've got to love the weekend. It's like everyone came together and said, if it's good, let's save it for the weekend. So here's to the KFC $10 weekend bucket. 10 pieces, $10. Any recipe, just $10 every Saturday and Sunday. Today tastes so good.
I sense you've overpacked your stomach. Try Pepto to go. It's Pepto-Bismol that fits in your pocket. Relief can be yours, but your peanuts are mine.
I'm so happy to be marrying your mom. You know that, right?
Uh-huh.
I know this hasn't always been easy for you, and I'm really happy you're in my life, too.
It's just like yours, Mom.
Behind every open heart is a story. Tell yours with my Open Hearts collection at Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. There are millions of reasons to give one, but the message is always the same. Keep your heart open, and love will always find its way in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Every kiss begins with Kay.
Temple by 1 as Foster picks up his 3rd personal foul. The freshman for Towson has to go to the bench. And we'll remind you coming up at the half. Detroit versus number 19 UConn. Get highlights of that. Major League Baseball naming their MVPs. And the top college football recruit chooses a school. So we'll get you involved in all of that coming up on the college basketball halftime report. So stay tuned for that. As Daniel Dingle heads to the free throw line for Temple. And he'll get another. Temple up 2. Dingle's brother is David Dingle. Was on the UMass Final Four team back in 95-96 with Marcus Camby and John Calipari as head coach.
His brother was a really, really talented guard. I'm sure he taught him a thing or two about this game. What do you think?
Well, he was all over the place when he played. He was diving all over the floor, doing the little things for that team back then. And he's got a good role model to look up to in that regard.
Fran Dunphy was saying he would love for Dingle to become a little more interested on the defensive end. But offensively, he's really talented.
Hairston gets it back. Shot clock, though, down to 5. Damas. Guthrie for 3. Benjamin boxed out. Thought it went off of DeCozy. And Brian Kersey thought otherwise.
Let's see. Shot goes up. Right there, I think Benjamin got a hand in it right there.
It's a good call.
Number 2, you're ugly. The difference is the last 2 minutes of the game, that's a reviewable play. The last 2 minutes of the game and in overtime, that's one of those situations where the officials can go to the monitor and make sure they get it right.
Good point, Ron. Mark Williams got it knocked away, and he is called for a foul.
Again, there's Damas all over the ball, pressure defense. Temple relaxed. He got his hand, ran through the ball, and then drew the foul. Damas does a lot of little things. If you watch him, nothing looks fancy, nothing looks, exotic, but he finds a way to get points, gets rebounds. He starts fast breaks. He does a lot of positive things for this Towson ball club.
Williams called for the foul, his first 18th foul for Temple. Damas on the front end of the 1-and-1 miss. Cummings trying to make him pay to Brown, and he does with the runner.
Again, transition defense for Towson is one of the points of emphasis that Pat Scarry is going to address at halftime, because Temple has scored and stayed in this game and gotten the lead because of their ability to push the ball off of Towson mistakes.
Hairston
played with 1 foul.
So Dingle hits the first. And this is just kind of one of those momentum plays here, especially late in this first half. He's going to ask you about what each team is looking to do in the final couple of minutes. Well, Temple right now is on a 9-0 run after this whole situation.
And right now you're giving them 3 points at the free throw line when you want to close the half off on a positive note. So you're getting them 3 opportunities to put points on the board. And if you're Temple, you couldn't be more excited, because this is a road game. You want to try to get any advantage that you can.
The flagrant 1 shots were taken by Dingle, as he was the one who was fouled. And then you just saw right there Will Cummings with the 2 technical free throws. Now it's an 8-point lead by Temple, and they have the ball.
And you get possession of the ball with the opportunity to potentially get 3 to 4 more points.
And now a traveling violation, just what Towson needed, as things are starting to unravel here at the end of this first half. Largest lead of the night. Now it's an 11-0 run by Towson in almost the last, or by Temple, in almost the last 3 minutes of action.
With Towson, we've seen the last 3 minutes. They want to run, they want to shoot a little slightly quicker at home than they want to do on the road. But they've taken some ill-advised shots. You know, a lot of possessions went through where they didn't make more than 1 or 2 passes. They made a lot of careless decisions offensively. They want to try to close off much better than they did the last 3 minutes.
Good swing to the corner, and Burwell trades a trip.
And when you move the ball from side to side, multiple guys touch the ball, you get what? You get wide open looks, which happened that possession.
That's the second 3 of the night.
Much better possession that time than we've seen from Towson the last 3 minutes.
Big shot gets the crowd back in with under a minute to go here in the first half. Pepper. Up to DeCozy. Temple with 7 to shoot. Pepper with ball coming up at the break. And under 15 seconds of game action here tonight from Towson, Maryland in the CQ Arena. Brand new building. Tigers hoping to start 3-0 for the first time in over 40 years. 5 seconds left as Benjamin is fouled, trying to cut into this 7-point deficit before the end of the half. Foul, by the way, was on Will Cummings for Temple, his second. We've got about 8 to 10 NBA scouts in the house early part of this season checking out Benjamin.
Yeah, and they're here for a good reason. You know, I think offensively his skill set translates. He reminds me in college of, you know, a versatile Ron Artest, and he's a slightly less athletic version.
Cummings at the buzzer and hits the back rim, and that'll take us to halftime. 5-point Temple advantage thanks to 10 by Will Cummings.
Took jump shots, were the right guys.
Benjamin leading the way with 11 for Towson in that first half, and we're underway here in the second frame. And it's a quick pass inside for Lee, and the dunk on the feed from Mark Williams.
To Fran Dunphy, you couldn't be more excited. That's just how you drew it up. You always script your first few plays coming at the start of the half, and that couldn't have worked any better for Temple.
A step up in competition for the Tigers certainly here tonight after blowout wins over Navy and Morgan State to start, as Benjamin misses his first shot of the second half and now is called for a goaltend on the shot from Will Cummings.
Let's take a look at it and see. He goes up. Tough to tell from that angle. But the officials were all over it.
Good crew here tonight with Brian Kersey, Brian O'Connell, and Clarence Armstrong. 9-point Temple advantage. Largest lead was 8. Dennis for 3. Yes. Damas is into double figures now with 10 points, his second 3 of the night. Lee is rejected by Benjamin. Look out. 3-on-2. And Damas is fouled. Devontae Watson.
Excellent patience that time defensively by Benjamin. And you see right here, one-on-one. It's very hard to block the shot of the guy you're guarding. Benjamin times it perfectly, gets the rejection without picking up the foul.
Checking on Quentin DeCozy, the foul. That's going to be his second. We talked about in the first half, Damas, the first player brought in by Coach Pat Scarry. And now with the core of players around him, how it rises your game a little bit too. He was a solid player back then, but now.
Towson has a lot of good pieces, and now Damas is in a situation where he can play his natural position at that small forward spot, roam around defensively, and he's a supreme athlete. So, you know, that always bodes well when you're as long and lanky as he is.
Biggest turnaround in NCAA history under Pat Scarry now in his 3rd season. His team is picked to finish first in the CAA. Temple picked to finish 5th in the new AAC as they throw it away.
Right now, this possession, Towson has to be efficient in their half-court set. They're good when the game's scattered and they're pushing it off of missed baskets, but they have to be able to execute in their half-court sets if they're going to get this lead, especially with 18 minutes to go in the second half.
Benjamin takes it in against Lee and muscles his way in for 2.
Nice call that time, I thought, by Pat Scarrett. They lifted the offense, they cleared out the right side, and credit Benjamin for not settling, Mike, for the jump shot. He got all the way to the rack that time and used his brute strength.
And he could shoot that shot from out there, too. Trying for the give and go, and it's broken up. The decision by Damas to pull it out. Benjamin blocked, and now he's called for steps. Yep, little hop there. Coach Scarry thought it was a foul first.
And I think Pat Scarry was correct. He definitely got hit on that jump shot. The officials didn't call it. Right, he spins right there on the wrist. He gets hit. They didn't call it. But then he got a little frustrated and tried to go a little faster once he regained it.
One thing they're going to be careful about here tonight if you're Towson is to not, get too into like, hey, that's a foul, and, get a little chippy with all the calls here.
Exactly. They have to realize that they're not playing Navy or Morgan State right now. They're playing a really, really high-quality ball club, so things aren't going to go as smoothly as they went their first 2 games. Adversity doesn't always mean there's a problem. They just have to weather the storm.
What a tough shot by Will Cummings in the corner with Hairston in his face.
Will's been right on time all night long for Temple.
And that's 12 so far for him tonight. 3 minutes gone by in the second half. It's Temple by 5. Back into the hands of Hairston with under 10 to shoot. Benjamin has been thinking about a long-range shot. Got it knocked away. Parker Rivera, did he get it off? He did not. Shot clock violation.
Bad decision that time, I thought, by Benjamin. A lot of times he holds on the ball a little too long, but watch Will Cummings right here. Takes the bump, steps back, tough shot with the shot clock winding down.
Here's a long 3. It's good. Nothing but net for DeCozy.
I love his game, Mike, because he can do so many things on the basketball court, and he makes it look effortless. It looks like he's not working hard. It looks like he's barely sweating, but he's just so smooth with his game.
Career high 16 points in the last game versus Kent State. Burwell slashing. Did not finish. And he saves it from going out. Heck of a play. Towson looks anxious. Everybody wants to do something, it seems like.
It seems like everyone is getting the
4 wins a year in the last 6 years has been phenomenal. And Fran Dunphy has 159 of those wins. Foul here. It's on Pepper, his second. And Dunphy's sporting the mustache here for Movember. And the awareness of prostate cancer in November. Sporting the mustache. Does it every year, and now a nice play by Benjamin to follow for the basket.
And Pat Scarry needs Benjamin to do a little bit more of that. Crash the boards, be a little bit more effective in the blue-collar areas of the game tonight.
Pepper can't convert. Rebound Parker Rivera. Tigers trying to get the crowd back into it here as Hairston bombs up a 3. Benjamin, what a fake and a finish.
That time I thought Terrell Benjamin did a good job at turning a bad shot into a good play. Hairston came down a little bit too early, took a quick 3, which you didn't need, but Benjamin was in the right place at the right time. Benjamin has to get himself going on the boards, which he's starting to do. He has to be the workhorse for Towson.
4-point ball game in favor of the Owls. Foul on the floor before the drive here.
Watch Benjamin right here. I don't mind these points at all if you're Pat Scarry. He's getting on the offensive boards, being relentless. You see the shot goes up again, fighting for position, doing the blue-collar work for Towson. See, Pat Scarry doesn't need a 6'8", 245-pound bull being the pretty guy.
Right.
You know, Jarrell Benjamin has to get his sleeves dirty, has to get his shorts dirty. He has to do some of the grimy things for this ball club to be successful.
It was Tamaj Parker Rivera that was called for the foul for Towson, his second. Williams up faking on a three, and his pass into the interior. They're going to call the foul on Parker Rivera. And the crowd roars at that one because that's his third. Two quick ones.
What the official called was not the hand that touched the ball, but Parker Rivera had his right hand on his waist. And that's a foul. If that would be a foul with that much contact on the perimeter, they have to call it in the post.
Well, he goes out with 3 fouls, but Walter Foster, who has 3 fouls, comes back in as Lee shoots it over Benjamin for 2.
That time, Lee willed that ball in the basket.
Anthony Lee has 12 points for the Owls here tonight. A lot of family and friends, almost 30 of them in the house here tonight for a little bit. 6-point Temple advantage with the ball here in 13:45 to play. Cummings. Foul before the rejection. Hairston can't believe it.
With the new rules, if you're a penetrating guard, the rules are in your favor. If you bump a kid when he's making his forward motion to the basket, you have to call it. And these are rules. These aren't new rules. These are old rules that the officials are making sure that they enforce this season. So once Cummings committed to the drive, once he got bumped, the officials are obligated to make that call every single time.
Hairston's second foul. They'll take a seat. Ford McGlynn is checked back in for Towson, their 3-point threat. And Cummings makes it an 8-point game. See if they try to get Ford McGlynn open on the outside. Led Vermont in scoring 2 years ago, a team that went to the NCAA tournament. Transferred back here to Towson, wanted to be closer to home, and a foul on the drive by Burwell. Williams called for his second, third team foul. Wednesday night rivalry night, don't miss it. Penguins Capitals. Coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern. Dingle on a foul now. That's his third.
Temple's got to give Dingle some help. He can't guard Benjamin one-on-one. Benjamin realized as soon as he got it, he went right to the basket.
Couldn't finish, though. There comes DeCozy, and he lost it. Real good test here for Towson tonight, with this team coming back, returning their top 5 scorers. 18 wins last year, picked to finish first in the CAA. A couple of opponents they should have beaten, they did handily, Navy and Morgan State. Now Temple, what a test here tonight to see where this team's at early on.
You know, it's their first big test so far this season against a quality ball club. You know, Temple's long, they're athletic, they're very well coached. Whenever Towson tries to make a run, Temple is savvy enough to come down and attempt to try to be a little bit more patient offensively.
Nice spin by Benjamin to the baseline for 2. Lee posting up down low for the Owls against the freshman Foster. And there it is. Lee gets by him for the basket.
Right there, that's just an example of Lee taking advantage of the freshman Foster. Foster, you have to understand scouting report. Lee is left-handed. He's going strong over his right shoulder every time. And Foster didn't take it away.
Good call, Ron. It was too easy that time.
Way too easy.
Yep. Coming up on 12 minutes to play in this second half. Owls by 8. Burwell feeds it to Foster, and he counters. He says, okay, I'll come back. The freshman from Atlanta hits.
You got me. Now I'm going to make you play a little defense on the other end. Let's see if Temple goes back, finds a way to get the ball back to Lee on that low block. He's done his work around the block and in the short corners.
19 total points tonight for Benjamin. Great start to this season for him. Averaging 13.5 coming in and 15.5 rebounds throughout the first 2 games. Guthrie for 3, got a good look, but couldn't get it to go. Fight for the ball. Burwell, was he out? Yes, he was.
Officials right there on it. Down on his hands, knees, on all fours to make that call. Watch this. You see him right there on the sideline. He's all over it. Couldn't have had a better angle. Couldn't have had a better angle. Great job.
Lee on the block against Benjamin with a left hand. Wow. Lee, after coming down on that elbow, Ron, and just to be able to come back in like that and still be dominant.
Well, he's feeling it right now. You know, they've allowed him to get the ball a little too deep. He's long and he's athletic, so if you let him turn and get into his rhythm, you can't stop him at that point.
Benjamin, tough shot. Nice rebound by Foster, and he is fouled.
Again, Towson doing their work on the offensive boards. Benjamin that time when he drove for the foul instead of trying to finish. But watch Lee right here. Benjamin is playing him towards his strong hand, but Lee just goes up over him and drops it.
Williams had the foul for Temple, his second. Anthony Lee's got 16 points for Temple to lead them in scoring. And Foster's able to hit 1 of 2. Cummings. On the kick to Brown. Checked by McGlynn. Again into Lee, and he'll draw contact.
Good patience, I thought, that time by Four. Four wanted to come off and take the shot, but he realized that, you know, he had the angle when he turned the corner, found Lee slipping to the basket. I really like Lee's activity and his energy here in the second half. He's picked it up. He realizes that they're on the road in a hostile environment, and he's one of the guys that Fran Duffy was saying that he's going to lean and push on to be a little bit more assertive this season.
Make sure you join us Thanksgiving weekend. We'll take you to Paradise, Tennessee, Villanova, Kansas. They headline the Battle for Atlantis. Then we'll be in Brooklyn for the Barclays Center Classic. Thanksgiving weekend. Tons of college basketball right here on NBCSN. Foul was on Benjamin, his third. And he brings it up the court with his team down 7. That's deflected out by Pepper. Excited for college basketball here on NBCSN this year. We got some great games starting here tonight at Towson between these two teams, pretty well evenly matched in this one.
Where else would you rather be besides right here watching this quality basketball? You know, it's that time of year. It's the kind of year where you get your popcorn and your soda, and you watch all-star players like a guy like Benjamin.
It was now over 20 points scoring tonight. .21 for Benjamin. 5-point Temple lead. halfway through the second half. Shot clock at 10 for the Owls to shoot. Brown slices through, and it's rejected by Foster with 5 on the shot clock.
Watch Benjamin steps out, squares his shoulders, no one runs at him, and it's target practice. And then right here, Brown drives. The defense comes over. Great job that time by Foster.
Inside Lee can convert. No whistle. Another block by Foster. Crowd energized.
Pat Scarry says the future is bright for Foster. He thinks he can really score the ball, and he's giving up on the defensive end right now.
And they got some shot blockers down low with Foster, Parker, Rivera, Benjamin. Big spark right there for the Tigers. Benjamin, look at the moves with a big guy. Fouled. He'll get 2.
But if you notice, his actions now are towards the basket. He's not dancing. He's not floating with the ball. As soon as he sees an angle, he puts his head down. He goes full speed ahead. Right here. Quick crossover, spin, coming back to the basket, trying to make the left-hand layup. Now he has to go through the free throw line and convert. Right now, Temple, they're in a situation where they have to find a way to start to get some buckets. Early in the first half, it was Cummings coming to the rescue. Right now, some other guys need to pick it up and score.
Last year, Benjamin had 30 points and 18 rebounds versus the Owls. When I talked to head coach Fran Dunphy earlier this week to ask him about what you do, he said, well, I'm going to pop in the tape from last year, and we're going to do exactly the opposite of what we did in that ball game here tonight.
Well, that's a situation where you challenge your guys. You say, look, are you going to let this guy not only get a double-double, but a monster double-double? And they're trying to do as good a job as they can. They've done a pretty solid job so far keeping them off the boards.
Third foul on Anthony Lee for Temple. Last year, it was a Temple 72-61 win in Philadelphia. Tigers trying to return the favor tonight, but Pepper hits a big 3.
That time I thought Guthrie was slow rotating over. You can't give Pepper that much space. Towson shifted to a 2-3 matchup zone that time, and Guthrie just didn't rotate to him. You have to get to a shooter more aggressively than that.
How big is Pepper going to be this year for Temple? He played in 29 games last year off the bench, averaging under 3 points a ball game. He's averaging 17 throughout the first 2 coming in.
And they thought with him it was just a matter of confidence. In high school he scored over 2,000 points. They just need him to find his rhythm.
Guthrie can't convert on the drive. Rebound, Damas. Putback is too strong, and Lee's got the rebound. DeCozy back to Cummings. Here's Guthrie for McGlynn. McGlynn blocked from behind and picked up by DeCozy. And now McGlynn to Damas and Benjamin. And it's fast and furious now. Foul's called on Will Cummings. Going to be his 3rd. 7-point contest as Tamaj Parker Rivera comes back in for Towson. One and one for Benjamin. And he'll get another. Honorable mention, AP All-American last year. NBA teams checking him out here. There's a couple of subs come back in for the Owls. Josh Brown, Anthony Lee back to the bench. Last year in the CAA and the preseason favorite for this year. And, of course, Pat Scarry, the coach of the year in the CAA as well. First time that they've had a player of the year and coach of the year in the CAA for Towson. A special year, and they're looking to keep it going this year. You talked about Drexel. 5-point loss at number 22 UCLA last week. They had a game-tying 3-pointer in the final seconds that they missed, so keep an eye out for that.
Loser Flint always gets his guys up for big games, and they're going to fight and claw until the final bell.
How about this one here tonight? Temple by 3. Burwell knocks it away. Guthrie on the run. Guthrie finishes.
Good steal. Good push that time by Towson. Look for Temple in this possession. Take some time off the clock. Take the crowd out of it. Make a few passes. Get a good solid shot.
This place is jumping. First basket of the night for Guthrie after starting 0 for 6 from the field. Timeout. Temple.
I love that timeout, though. That time by Fran Duffy. The crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. Kind of take the...
You could be okay with that? He's like, yeah, I would love for it to tie my mark 41 years ago.
That's
when
right.
The Tigers started 3-0. Now they can take the lead. Davis drives. Davis lays it in.
If you remember in the first half when Towson made their push, it was Davis, and he's picking up where he left off, especially on the defensive end.
DeCozy, the Eagles draw contact.
That right there by DeCozy was an example. As we take a look at Davis right here, shooting the passing lanes, getting the deflection, and finishing strong on the other end. Nice drive, nice push, nice finish. But that last possession we saw by Temple, they did an excellent job at using the rules to their advantage. That time, DeCozy put his head down, drove hard. The defender put his hand on his hip. And by definition of the rule, you have to make that call.
Look at the student section here tonight.
Watch DeCozy right here on the wing. He drives hard. Davis puts his hand right there on his shoulder as he goes up for the shot, and that call has to be made. That's the point of emphasis. It's not a rule change. It's been in the rule book. The officials have just been mandated and voted upon to make sure they make that call consistently all season.
6:45 left here as Temple regains the lead by 1. Guthrie fouled on the floor by Will Cummings, and that'll be his third.
Again, that's another example. Guthrie isolated on the wing, ripped through, drove hard. Cummings had his hand on his hip. You cannot do that any longer. They're not letting that go, and they had to call it. That's another foul.
All right, take a look at Jacoby Jones on the left, Torrey Smith on the right from the Baltimore Ravens. Towson, Maryland here, just north of Baltimore from the world champion Ravens in the house tonight.
Ravens coming out, giving a little support and love to the hometown Towson Tigers.
Guthrie missing the front half of the 1-and-1, so it's Temple ball and a 1-point lead. Towson got a bench warning in the last sequences. They're fired up here tonight. They sense a big-time win over a big-time program. Can they get it done? Davis, another foul. Yeah, you were just talking about it, Ron, and impeding the progress there with the handout.
If you're a fan or you're watching the game, you're trying to figure out what in the heck are these officials calling. These are touch fouls. Well, touch fouls now are going to be called. Again, rip through. You see hand right there on the hip. They're going to call that every single time all season long. And we spoke with the officials before the game, and they said they recommend guys just try to contain. Just try to contain, move your feet, stay in front.
Well, each team now just missing the front half of the 1-and-1. Towson a chance to regain the lead here with Burwell, Guthrie, Benjamin, Parker Rivera, and Damas, the 5 on the floor.
With both of these ball clubs, you're starting to see as the game goes on, their offensive efficiencies gets better and better.
Benjamin to Damas for 3. Guthrie, offensive rebound, no foul, and it's into the hands of Burwell. And now we have a foul. It's going to be on the Tigers. And it's on Benjamin, and that's going to be his 4th. And he has to watch it now with 5:36 left in this contest.
If I'm Temple right now with Benjamin picking up his 4th foul, I try to see where he is defensively. You know, if he's defending Lee, I'm going inside to Lee because he either has to let Lee go or pick up his 5th foul and be sitting on the bench for the rest of the game.
Hey, number 3! Number 3, we see you! What's up?
Now we're going to see has Benjamin grown and matured? Can he play the final 5 minutes and not pick up that fifth foul?
Well, if you're Pat Scarry, do you teeter with the notion of trying to take him out?
It's going through his mind right now, and he may want to give him a quick blow so that he can just relax him a little bit, but get him back in. But it's crunch time now. But, you know, he's picked to be player of the year, 5 minutes to go, fifth-year senior. Pat may think he's ready to roll.
Well, they go back on the offensive end right now, so we shall see. Nice knock away right in front of us.
Good hustle that time by Cummings, stretching out. And you want those kind of plays from the upperclassmen. That time Cummings got a deflection. Watch this. Gets his hand on it, races, coming right in your front door. I thought you were going to get up and run that time.
Yeah, we had the table protecting us.
Just so you know, if they come over the top, I'm gone. You're on your own.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Just give me forewarning. No I in team right here.
Benjamin works it in. Left hand. Nice spin.
Again, I love his attack mode. He's in attack mode right now. Temple, the second line of defense isn't coming. The first guy, Terrell Benjamin, is too talented. He doesn't even see the first guy guarding him. The help has to come.
DeCozy. He got tied up by Burwell, and it's a jump, and it's Towson ball.
Look at Towson fans. They're into it. They're excited. Right now, Towson has to be efficient on the offensive end. Look for them. Another clear-out situation for Benjamin, or possibly Benjamin catching the ball on the block going to work. He has to be careful, though, that Temple doesn't draw an offensive foul on him as well.
Benjamin approaching a career high. He's got 28 points. Career high is 31. Here's Burwell. The great addition with Benjamin, the transfers from South Florida, Burwell, and Benjamin from Georgetown that helped ignite this program. Parker Rivera, basket, a foul.
You know, we talked about offensive efficiency. Right there, Temple shifted to a zone. Credit Towson for recognizing it. Pat Scarry called his own offensive play, and they caught them snapping on the baseline right here. Burwell, nice little bounce pass down on the low post to Parker Rivera. Rivera goes strong to the basket with that upper body and finishes.
Mark Williams picks up his fourth foul for Temple, and Tomas Parker Rivera caps off a three-point play. Walter Foster back in. Now they'll take Benjamin out for a little bit with a Towson 62-60 lead.
I like the move that time by Pat Scarry. You have the lead, give him a quick blow, recharge his battery, reminds him this is his fourth foul, because you have to do that as a coach. Look, son, you got 4 fouls, don't pick up your fifth. Look for him to come back in around the 3-minute mark.
Pepper drives, rejected. Parker Rivera.
Parker Rivera, as well as the freshman Foster, have had a complete block party. They call a foul right there on the inbound play, going the other way. And Pat Scarry turns around, looks at Benjamin, and says, "Get your butt back in there for offense."
Wow, fourth foul on Anthony Lee, the top player for Temple right now. The crowd jumping at the all-new CQ Arena in Towson University. First year of the building. Tigers trying to start off 3-0 here at home. Lee is going to come out as we approach the 4-minute mark. Here tonight, Temple with 15 turnovers, and Towson has converted that into 25 points here tonight to take this 4-point advantage. They get it down low to Williams. Works it into a double team. No good. Burwell comes down with it for Towson. Dangerous pass to Guthrie. Crowd wanted that three by Dennis. Now 3 off the Parker Rivera screen. Floater. Rebound, Parker Rivera. Put back, rejected partially. Benedict follows.
Good job by Towson. They're just killing Temple on the offensive boards tonight. That can't happen. We saw that trend in the first half, and it's crunch time right now. You have to turn and put a body on body if you're Temple when the shot goes up.
Pepper for 3. Air ball. It's 18-8 on the offensive glass for the Towson Tigers here tonight. Crowd turned it down a notch for a second there. 8 to shoot. Guthrie, nifty move. Got hit, no call. Got his own rebound and got it rejected. Williams on the tip. And they knocked it out.
This is what we were talking about earlier, right around this time point, right around the 2-minute mark, officials are able to go to the monitor to make sure that they get deflections and out-of-bound plays to make sure that they get the call right.
It was the violation because that shot was rejected, and then they got tipped down. So a violation before the ball went out. So now Towson, instead of being on offense, they're on defense. So Temple retains the ball here. Big possession and a foul. Parker Rivera picks up his 4th. The last basket, Ron, for Temple was at 9:18 left in this second half. It was a 3 by Pepper. Probably fortunate to be down only 6, 7 minutes later without getting anything. First points in a while. Williams at the line. Josh Brown checking back in. Williams goes out. 4-point game. Towson on top, under 2 to go.
Temple picking up full, trying to speed up the pace just a little bit. Look for them to be aggressively shooting passing lanes. If you're Towson, conversely, you have to meet the pass aggressively because Temple has nothing to lose by being extra aggressive here on the defensive end.
Burwell guarded by Cummings. Benjamin, the step back. Tipped up and in by Damas.
Damas always in the right place at the right time. Again, another offense.
5th.
Yeah, they picked middle of the pack, and you got UConn, you got Louisville.
There's a big 3 by Quentin Nkosi and a timeout by Temple. They are not done here tonight. First off, though, it's a 3-point ball game with a minute. Three-point ball game. Just over a minute left from Towson. Gentlemen. Shot clock 15. They can work it down to about 38 left on the game clock. Benjamin spins, tied up, got it back. Blocked from behind by Josh Brown, and now Burwell comes up with it. Davis has to fire a 3, and that's a shot clock violation.
Again, Towson got 2 offensive rebounds on that possession. They didn't get a good shot there at the
Here's Cummings. Pepper off the screen. Pepper to the hole. Too strong. Tip no. Toss and a rebound. Davis. And he is going to be fouled by Pepper with 24 seconds left. Pepper's third. Fran Dunphy has been in this situation a long time. No panic for the Temple Owls.
There's a lot of time left in this game. I don't like the body language, though, of the current guys that are on the floor for Temple. Right there after that foul, you saw them sulking. You saw them drop their head a little bit. 24 seconds, you're only down 3. A lot of time left in this ball game.
A big free throw there. 4-point game.
That free throw, it makes it most likely a 2-possession ball game. They have to play solid defense, make their switches. If you're Temple, look for them to push it and try to drive.
Lee battling with Burwell, and they will call Burwell of Towson for the foul. So that's going to be 2 shots here now for Temple. That's the 10th team foul on the Tigers. Exactly what they did not want to do here with the clock stopped. 23.3. And now Temple has a chance to cut it to 2.
Well, that's what makes you lose your hair, as in my case, or get gray hair if you're Pat Scarry. There's no need for a foul in that situation if you can't get the rebound.
Lose your hair for you, gray hair for me.
Gray hair for you as well.
It's coming. Gotta do something about that. 3-point lead for Towson now. 23.3. Here comes Josh Brown back in. Anthony Lee, but a Warrior tonight, fell hard on his elbow. 4 fouls, and he hits both free throws. Burwell to put it in. And they foul McGlynn. Not really the one you want to foul there. Quentin Nicosi with his 3rd. McGlynn. And this is back a while, but when he was at Vermont, America East Rookie of the Year, #1 in the nation and freshman with an 88.9% free throw percentage. Obviously, he's a very good shooter. And we'll see if he can convert here at the line. Hasn't played too much tonight. Well, that doesn't matter for a pure shooter as himself.
This is one of those games where you need your stars to make plays. For Towson, it was Benjamin. They know who their star is. And he made plays right when they needed him to. For Temple, they're still trying to figure out, as this season goes on, with a lot of these new guys in different roles, who's going to be their consistent go-to guy. That's still stay that way for a long time.
Here comes Will Cummings. 15 to shoot. Cummings, what a spin move. Misses. Follow is there by Lee. And Temple takes their last timeout. What a game here tonight. 13.9 to go. Tigers by 2. Will can run the baseline here for the Tigers. They lead it by 2. Temple's out of timeouts. Towson with the 1 possession arrow in favor of Temple. Benjamin fouled quickly by Will Cummings. And Cummings is going to foul out. And now it comes down to the free throw line.
You have to keep making these free throws as the game progresses. But also, Towson has done a great job at crashing the offensive boards.
Right.
If Benjamin were to miss, Temple has to box out strong at this free throw line.
How dangerous is a guy like Benjamin when he can knock down free throws? You talk about the athleticism one he has to his game, and if he can hit the shot at the line, which he's done. 12 at the free throw line for Benjamin. A new career high 32. 9 seconds to go. Cummings. Benjamin got a piece of it.
Nice block. You need your players to make plays. Those are 2 big-time free throws by Benjamin. He comes down and gets a big-time block at the other end.
Transfers, they've meshed in well. Benjamin and Burwell. For McGlynn from Vermont. A couple of junior college guys as well as Guthrie knocks down the shot. He's a junior college transfer, Guthrie, but he loves the chemistry. Pat Scarry told us this week. The chemistry with the staff, the players, it's outstanding, and it's showing here tonight. 75-69, Towson, 5.5 to go. The drive no good by Josh Brown, and listen to this crowd. It's been 41 years since the Towson Tigers have started.